All right, y'all. Steppin Marcus J is live. We got Miss Tony in the building, Calm Banks in the building. We got a lot to get into. Calm Banks is going to ask the question, what do you think about it? And we got a whole lot of stuff. We're going to ask the question, what the hell? Ain't no Ask Steppin Marcus J is right now. Yeah.
It's about that time. It's about that time to get. Yeah.
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If they lying,
then they must be half stepping.
ain't no half stepping with Marcus J is live, y'all. We back in the building for a live show. We appreciate y'all being with us tonight. To be down, give us a call 804-402-2893 to be down with the flagship show, LegacyInternetRadio.com. You can get us on TuneIn, Shoutcast, Loud City, MixLR. We all over the internet, y'all, with listeners in the Richmond, Virginia area, back home in my home state of New Jersey. We had somebody hit us up from South Korea. We got people down in College Park, the ATL, West Coast. We everywhere. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We appreciate the love we get, and thank you so much for listening to us. Call us up at 804-402-2893 to be down with the flagship show of LegacyInternetRadio.com. We got a lot to get into tonight. So, of course, I like to start off by hollering at my crew. Start with my main man who tried real hard to be on my left. But tonight he is on my right, as he is every single week. I got Carlton Banks. What's up, man?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I see you try to outsmart your homie, man. What's
I
up
didn't
with
try
that?
to do anything. I just sat in the chair. That's
Man,
all I did.
see.
Then somebody else tried to move me out the chair, and I was trying to tell them to be quiet so they stay out of
for
trouble.
weeks, I have been saying Carl Banks on my right hand side, and you said to me that you was gonna get me. You tried to get me, man.
I tried. That's all I can do is try.
That's all. That's what you can
I mean, you gave me this new microphone, so I'm hoping you like me on it. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I normally have issues with you and the mic. And hopefully, I mean, right now your audio is good.
It's good
I
now?
got the people on MixLR. I see Joy out there, and I see Simone out there. So if they tell me that your audio ain't good, then I'll let you know. But for now, for now, I'll for now you good. Ain't no half step with Marcus J. Of course, is pleased to introduce or reintroduce. Joining us on her monthly spot every single second Monday of the month. We get Miss Tony in the building. What's up, girl?
Hello.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
You like to find us one in the room.
I would hope so.
I mean, like, you better looking than Carlton.
I mean, for real, dude. For real. You know what?
I mean, I guess she better looking than me too. I mean, she is a lady. I mean, better looking than you though, for real. Anyway, what's up, girl? How you doing?
Nothing, man.
I just embarrassed you. That's why I know. That's what I do.
I know, and I'm trying not to blush. But
Of course, girl. Let me see the rosy reds. Yeah.
I'm always rosy red.
There you go. There she do the little That's what it is. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. So tonight,
she cut her hair too, though. She did shave it down.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. What y'all talking about? See, I'm trying to transit. Oh, I see what you talking
He
about.
said my hair.
Yeah, it's red.
He said I cut it.
Cut it.
Oh, I thought you said it's red, like the rosy reds.
No.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I said she cut it.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
See, everything you're supposed to recognize stuff, right?
Thank you,
I
Carlton.
already commented
Yes.
about the color, right?
Yes, you did.
And then okay, all right.
I recognize everything. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't.
Oh, of course I knew it.
But you didn't.
He had already seen it.
But I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, but you ain't seen it since I seen it.
Well, I got to comment extra just because you ain't seen it.
I'm just saying.
Come
just
on,
seen
man.
it.
Seriously?
I just seen it.
I mean, okay, I will admit that I missed the little conversation that y'all was having, but you tried to call me out.
No, you just
You
jumped into a conversation Tony and I were having and were wrong.
But
I said
when
she
you
cut her
say
hair.
a conversation that y'all are having, we're having a conversation on the air, man. It ain't just y'all, it's everybody.
Thank you. I love my new haircut.
Thank you. I like it too.
No.
I like it too.
Thank
I
you.
ain't paying attention.
You ain't paying attention to me?
I ain't paying attention.
Dude, we usually don't fight until like quarter after.
Yeah, y'all started a little early.
We got to start early.
But last week we started like 10 after, and today it's 7 after. Like next week, like when you saying you must be a half, we gonna find a way to fight during that.
Yeah, I mean, you keep cutting me off. I'm just trying to extend it. I'm just like,
Nah, man, you gotta do that.
I'm trying to be like Big Boy from.
What's the dude that used to do Arsenio Hall and whatnot? Like
Big Boy.
Is that Big?
Yeah, that's Big Boy.
He gonna be doing it like that.
Big Boy.
Yeah.
Big Boy.
I don't think Big Boy did the
I mean,
Arsenio
but that's
Hall
what
thing.
that was his nickname on the show, though. That was Big Boy.
I was gonna say like Outcast Big Boy.
No, it won't. No, it won't. Outcast Big Boy.
Speaking
It's the
of
dude that.
Arsenio,
It's the dude who had.
He's coming back?
He had gastro.
Arsenio Hall is coming back.
He had
y'all.
gastro. I'm gonna find him.
We should try to get him on the show.
No thanks.
Yeah, I mean, you
Is
wouldn't
he
want
gonna
to.
bring that finger?
You
I
wouldn't
don't
want.
like
I mean,
his
you can't see
finger.
the finger on the radio. It's radio.
I can see it if I'm in the studio.
Well, I mean, I don't know that Arsenio would want to make a trip from Cleveland because he always did.
He not doing
He
nothing
always
else.
drove in from Cleveland to Los Angeles to do his show. Come on, you don't remember? He always drove
Yeah,
in from Cleveland. So I don't know if he can make it into Richmond to do the show with us, but at least he can call in.
He should be honored
he
to
can be
drive
an
here.
apprentice.
He should be. He would get to hang out with Carlton Banks. I mean, really, it's not unusual for a famous person.
I love that. That is unusual.
Yeah, ain't no ass Steppin Marcus J. All right, so let's get over the silliness and let's kind of get to some stuff. We don't have no sports for y'all tonight, so hopefully no one's waiting on us to get to sports. We'll talk more about sports when the NFL gets jump started in a couple of weeks. Right now, with the National Basketball Association being on hiatus and Major League Baseball not really being a hot button item to talk about. The only thing really in sports to talk about is Tiger Woods coming in 40th place yesterday, which is the second lowest in the history of his career, which I don't care enough about golf and I care less about Tiger. So let's move on to some what the hell. What the hell, Tony? What the hell is up with the dude who did to his bank what banks normally do to people? Now, that's the byline, okay? I'm getting this from MSN.com, and this was given to me, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who sent this to me. Charge it to my memory and not my heart. But this one, I'll read it out a little bit. The idea of banks beating gangs at their own game seems like a rich joke, but a dude by the name of Dmitry Argakov, this 42-year-old Russian dude, he may have managed to actually beat the bank at their own game. He's unhappy with the terms of his unsolicited credit card offer he received from online bank Tinkoff Credit Systems. So he scanned the document, wrote in his own terms, and sent it through. The bank approved the contract without reading it, the amended print, unwittingly agreeing to a 0% interest rate, unlimited credit, and no fees, as well as a stipulation that the bank pay steep fines for changing or canceling the contract. Of course, he used the card for 2 years, but the bank ultimately canceled it and sued him for $1,363. The bank said he owed them in charges, interest, and late payment fees. A court ruled that because of the no fee, no interest stipulation that Argakov had written in, he owed only his unpaid balance of $575. Now he's suing the bank for $727 for not honoring the contract's terms, and the bank is hollering fraud. Quote, they signed the documents without looking. They said what usually the borrowers say in court, saying, quote, we have not read it, his lawyer said. Shoes on the other foot now. Tony, you giving me a reaction based on the look on your face. Why don't you jump in on this one first? What's your thoughts?
I love it. Because that happens to people all the time. I mean, now that does not negate anyone from the responsibility to read a contract, and I am all for that. You always read a contract. I don't care how minor the transaction may be, always read a contract. But they do it to people all the time, and I think they make them long just so that you don't want to read it and say, okay, well, I'll just sign and go ahead and give me my card or whatever money that I need, and let's move forward. So I think that it's great.
I think it's pretty cool, too. I'm actually getting at Steven Sykes, host of Enliven Radio here on Legacy Internet Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 9. He's actually the one that sent it to me. He's sending me a text message. Now, thank you, Steven. I appreciate it because I did want to make sure that I gave credit where credit was due. I get stuff from folks all the time, and some stuff I can use and some stuff, unfortunately, I can't. But this was definitely the epitome of a what the hell, Carl Banks. This dude, he got an unsolicited credit card offer. Translation, ain't nobody asked for this. Y'all sent this to me.
Right.
And he was like, okay, I don't like these terms. I'm going to send in mine. And this is what happened. Carl, what's your thoughts, man?
Well, the thing is, like you said, he didn't solicit it. He has the right to rebut it. And he rebutted. They agreed to it. So shame on them for not reading what he wrote back in. I mean, that's the whole point. When you get something sent back to you, you're supposed to read it, right?
Yeah.
Act like you did and acknowledge it. But if you don't, then you don't. Shame on them. I hope he gets his money back and then some. I just want to know, what judge agreed to file against him, or the whole thing that he didn't have to pay the interest? I mean, that part was no brainer, right?
To me, it is, because if they signed, or the lender agreed to the terms, and he had been using his card for 2 years. First of all, I find it odd that there was no amendments made in 2 years, because, any credit card that I've ever seen, they always find a way to try to change up stuff, more frequently than 2 years. But be that as it may, it appears that did not happen. And so, I don't know that there's much precedent prior to Mr. Argakov, being a participant in the terms. But now there's precedent, at least in Russia. And this dude looks like he's going to win. I actually want to raise my hand and pump my fist to this dude. Like, word is bond, you got that. You got that. Because, like today, this is what I've gotten in the habit of doing. When I start getting that crap in the mail, unsolicited stuff, I write down return to sender and I put it back in the mailbox. Let them get spammed. When they start seeing that stuff start coming back to them, I get stuff from... I won't get into who they are, but I get stuff all the time. And I put something in the mailbox at least once or twice a week. I write return to sender, because once you open it, you can't do that.
Right.
But, I put return to sender, I put it back in the mailbox. And hopefully, they get the picture, like, stop spamming me. And I even get them phone calls on the cell phone, like, damn, man.
Yo, I got a spam text message. Don't even talk. Don't even trip.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Ain't no have Steppin Markets, Jay. Let's move on to, because I got a lot I want to get to. I'm getting this next one from the 360experiment.com. The 360experiment.com. This one is crass. I will go ahead and put that out there first. This one is crass. A man sticks an eel up his behind, and now he is fighting for his life. One Japanese man was fighting for his life after attempting to emulate what he claimed he saw in an adult film, in which the actress stuck an eel up their behind. Unfortunately for the man, the eel had quite an appetite and decided to gnaw his way out of the man's body. News broke about the man's failed attempt to please himself when the doctor blogged about the incident. According to the doctor, the 20-inch eel gnawed his way through the man's colon into his body, causing massive internal bleeding. The man underwent emergency surgery and miraculously survived. Surprisingly, his friend, who he hoped would bring him pleasure but nearly took his life, survived as well. In describing the eel's actions that nearly took the man's life, another doctor said, quote, the eel was simply trying to find his way out. Carl Banks. I'm going to come to you on this one first. A man took an eel and shoved it up his butt, trying to get one off. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, that reminds me of the people who were doing it with the hamsters and the gerbils.
I did.
Richard Gere.
Yeah, I do remember that.
For real, that's what it's come to, that you're going to take a live eel. First of all, where do you get the eel from? That's what I want to know.
I'm guessing that
Did he
it
go
would be
catch
too
it?
difficult to get an eel. I guess, you go,
Yeah,
to where
let me go to the hair. You got a live eel with you today?
I mean, not
And
that
a
you have
20-inch
one. I mean, I'm sure that if you
eel?
go and you go fishing somewhere, I'm sure you could find one. I mean, I'm not tripping off of that.
I'm just saying.
I don't know, Tony. Dude went very far to try to get one off. He went and found a 20-inch eel. First of all, It's 20 inches.
Oh my gosh.
Look, I mean, I know that this by nature, this is a somewhat crass situation, but 20 inches, like for real, for real,
Why not just get like a prostitute or something? I mean,
yeah.
He didn't want. It's a difference. See, the live wriggling of the eel, just like
wouldn't
the gerbils.
a prostitute be alive?
No.
And wriggling?
No, not if she's using a prosthetic.
Not a she, fool.
It's still, I mean.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're not called.
I'm
Those
sure
are not
no
called.
matter how good he is, he ain't 20 inches.
Yeah. Yeah, see? That's where it is. He wanted the length.
We've seen precedent for nobody's into what's the word
bestiality.
Bestiality. I should say no one. I ain't into it, but I've heard of women doing things with like horses
and dogs
and stuff like that.
Gorillas.
And if you've ever seen a horse, it's like, whoa, seriously?
Oh my God.
It's like, oh my goodness, seriously? But it's just an eel. Basically, all an eel is kind of like a snake. It's like I mean, help me if I'm wrong with my animal, biology. Correct me if I'm wrong, Carlton. It's like a thinner version of a snake.
No, thicker.
No,
It's thicker.
It's thicker.
they're thicker. Yeah.
Okay, but
these are animals that are in the water, not on the ground.
right.
And
yeah,
so
they're like
thicker.
a water snake.
Yeah.
And they
basically.
have teeth.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. The one thing that's missing from this article, and I'm looking at it, I don't see the fella's name. I don't see his name. Like, do we want to call up Mr. Japanese man and be like, dude, why you got an eel up your butt?
I don't want to talk to him.
I'd like to know what the hell he was thinking.
I can't.
Well, we know what he was thinking.
He wanted to get one off. That's what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. All right, listen. Last two, a little bit more serious. I wanted to have a little fun with those first two. The last two, a little bit more serious in this segment before we move on to Carlton Banks asking the question, what do you think about it? And I can't wait for y'all to hear what the question is, because it's something that every single person can relate to. You will have an opinion on this question. I step with Marcus J. Call us up to be down at 804-402-2893 to be part of the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio, found here on Mondays from 7 to 9, replayed on Friday nights from 7 to 9, heard on MixLR, Shoutcast, Loud City, as well as TuneIn. All right, listen. Next one I'm getting from democracynow.org. Democracynow.org. It's about the cancer-stricken lawyer, Lynn Stewart. Lynn Stewart is a civil rights lawyer. She's also been known to represent many folks who are charged with just some pretty bad stuff, who can't get representation from other folks. And just to give you an example, she's represented mass murderers and rapists and just downright pretty bad people. But I guess the way our country's laws are set up, everybody deserves representation no matter how bad your alleged charge is. Anyway, Lynn Stewart is trying to head back to federal court to seek her release. She's 73 years old. She's dying from cancer in a Texas prison. Last month, her treating physician in prison estimated her life expectancy to be about 18 months. This comes after the Federal Bureau of Prisons denied Stewart's request for early release, a denial her lawyers are appealing and hope to address today in a hearing before her original sentencing judge, Judge John Colt. In 2010, Stewart was sentenced to 10 years in prison for passing messages from her client, Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman, to his followers in Egypt.
Can you say that name again in one breath?
In Egypt, in a letter to the judge, Rahman. In a letter to the judge, she wrote, quote, "I do not intend to go gently into the good night." As Dylan Thomas wrote, her attorney, "There's much more to be done in this world. I do know that I do not want to die in prison, a strange and loveless place. I want to be someplace familiar, in a word, at home. Grandiose plans, not just food, conversation, music. This is what I want to look forward to." There's more to it. I won't get more into it. But basically, I think we've got it set up pretty good. You've got a lawyer who basically sent notes from her client to his followers in his home country. Apparently, this dude's a terrorist. She got sentenced to 10 years in prison, and now she is about to die at some point in the next year and a half. Tony, The reason why I brought this case up, we can talk specifically about Counselor Stewart, but I want to kind of bring in a bigger picture with regards to mercy for folks who are convicted of nonviolent crimes and things of that sort. Are they? Well, I won't get into what my thoughts is, because if I said any more, I would kind of tip my hand. Based on what you've heard so far, do you think that this woman should be released from prison early so that she can go home and die in peace?
I absolutely do not. I mean, you were convicted, and unfortunately, I don't mean to seem cold-hearted, but, you have to serve your time. There are lots of people who, end up dying in prison and, missing, out on their children's lives and grandchildren. And, unfortunately, that's one of the downsides of being incarcerated, is that you have your freedom taken away. And unfortunately, when you make the decision to commit a crime, you lose the choice to be able to, to decide how and where you spend your last days.
Carlton Banks, I think I could probably guess what your position is, but I'll ask you to kind of expand on it as to why you feel that way in this particular situation.
She need to stay in jail. She went in there for a reason, right? So therefore, what reason is there to let her out? Did she get on probation? Sorry, so sad, too bad. Been nice knowing you. My tax dollars at work.
Would we? Well, let's play the devil's advocate here. And just for the record, I agree with y'all. I feel like, if you do a crime, something that's against the law, you need to do the time that you're given. If you are eligible for early release, parole, probation, well, not probation, in this case, parole, whatever it may be, then so be it. There's been precedent for people being let out of jail on temporary cases to attend the funerals of family members, like C. Murder, Master P, and Silk the Shocker's brother. Just in recent weeks, we know he's in for murder for life, and he got out just for a few hours to attend the funeral of their grandmother. So there's precedent for that. But as far as this person right here being let out of prison because she's gonna die, there's no question. In 2010, she got a 10-year sentence, which means 2020 is her expected release date, but for any parole, which would they say you got to do like 60 or 70% of your time. So you figure 2016, 17, maybe parole, and that's me speculating. I don't know that specifically, but should be gone by that. Do you agree, Tony? I'll come to you on this one first. Do you believe that there is not precedent, but do you think that there is a reason to issue, not necessarily this case, but just in general, to issue compassionate release for someone, who may, have done a crime? But do we ever look at the full composite of their life and apply the good that they have done and maybe say, you know what, this woman's 70, and I guess I'll go back to, and I'll use her specifically. It's an attorney who's done good things in her life. She's 73 years old. She's going to be dead by the 75th birthday. She did something that wasn't lawful, but at the same time, it wasn't a violent crime. Do we think that it would be, compassionate to let this person die in peace? And maybe not just this person, but just in general.
I don't think it would be compassionate. I think it would be unfair. Because again, other people have had to miss out on much more. You're going to die. We're all going to die. But, maybe kind of knowing that, okay, I got about a year and a half to go, maybe I can live it up. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. And some may have committed crimes that are less severe. And yeah, she may have done these wonderful things, as a practicing attorney, but some people may see, what she did as not so great, because I think you said she defended a lot of, people who couldn't necessarily get up, representation otherwise for their crimes. So, again, I think it would be unfair. It would be a miscarriage of justice, because again, that's the whole point of the penal system. You lose your freedom, you lose most of your choices and or your ability to choose, what happens to you in your life. And I'm sorry.
Carlton Banks, again, I know how you feel specifically in this particular case, but I'll ask you a little bit more generally than I asked Tony. Do you think that there's ever a good time to release someone from prison early simply because of, for compassionate reasons? adding to the fact that we're talking about nonviolent people who will not be a menace to society or cause any kind of harm to society. Do you think that should be something that should ever be considered?
No, absolutely not. People die out of prison. You lose loved ones while you're in prison. So what makes this person any different? I mean, what? Just no point to it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand where y'all coming from. I happen to disagree in the sense of the compassion part. It's one thing when we're talking about, Charles Manson. Somebody told me that he was cancer stricken. You would get no reaction from me. This is a mass murder. This is someone that did some terrible things. If you told me that, another bad gal, who had done, murderous things or raped a bunch of people or, was a drug kingpin or things of that sort, had done some terrible things, I would feel differently. Where you kind of run, for me personally, and this is my opinion, not the opinions of Carlton and Tony, but where you kind of run into a gray area for me is I like to use common sense. And common sense to me tells me that you had someone that did something that was bad enough for them to land in prison for 10 years. But you also have someone who spent the previous 70 years doing some good things. And they're about to die. They're about to suffer miserably. I think compassion, because we live in a world where we should give people second chances. Isn't that what being a religious person or being a Christian person or being someone who understands the power of love and all of those kinds of things, isn't that what we're supposed to be about?
But that's after you serve your time.
Well, right, you reap what you sow. You don't just get to say,
I
did mess up, but look at all these things that I did before. That doesn't erase what you did. And as far as saying, well, this person didn't murder anyone, or they weren't a drug kingpin, like who would set those guidelines as to what's forgivable or when should we show compassion? Because maybe someone who embezzled all this money from a company and leaves all these people without their 401k for their families, that's horrible too.
Right.
People, for you to work 30-40 years and you have nothing to show for it, you have to live out the rest of your days working for some other guy who at least got to live it up for 20-30 years off of your money. I mean, there is too much gray area in there.
Right.
In there, I think just because you murder someone or just because you don't murder someone doesn't make you a non-criminal.
Right. No, I got you. Again, my first instinct was to agree with you guys. You serve your time out, and if your time happens to be longer than what your life expectancy is, then so be it. It's just something about this particular case, and I'm sure those people whose jobs it is to come up with those types of guidelines, if there was to be some law written that says that there are going to be compassionate releases, I'm sure that they will come up with some kind of doctrine or some way to determine who's eligible for it.
But then you're going to come up with compassionate laws.
Well, whether it's fair or not. Well, I mean, we also know that there's definitely some very incompassionate laws as well. Certain laws that say that you can stalk somebody, pick a fight with them, kill them, and still go home. So I always go back to that because I know that the country that we live in has some jacked up laws, and the jacked up laws oftentimes have people who have done very little pay a lot. I don't know enough about the case to know if 10 years was a fair amount. Maybe it was too much, maybe it was too little. It's just hard for me to swallow the fact that, a 70-year-old lady who spent her life in the court system doing great things has got to die in prison, for something like that. But I mean, I'm torn because you can hear me in my discussion with y'all. You can hear me kind of going back and forth and waffling. I'm very, very torn.
What great things did she do, though?
Well, I mean, you're talking about an attorney.
She was a defense attorney, which a lot of people hear defense attorney and they're like, criminals right there.
That's fair, but I think anytime you are someone who will take it upon yourself to make it your life's work to defend folks who have no other defense or no other.
But she's still getting paid. It's not like she was doing it pro bono out of the kindness of her heart.
Yeah,
that's the course that she chose.
There's a lot of things that you can do and get paid for it, but there's still a benevolence in nature. So, okay, she got paid for it, but she still took on jobs that nobody else wanted to defend people. And I guess if we went and we dug into her history, which we don't have time to do that now, I'd be willing to bet that she probably defended plenty of people who were innocent that were charged with some pretty bad stuff, and she got them off.
But she also could have defended people who were absolutely guilty.
And got them off.
Right.
That's her job.
Right.
That's what she went
to school for. She has connections with this Sheikh dude. Really.
Yeah.
She could be getting some kickback. You just don't, like you said, there are too many unknowns.
There's a lot of gray
here.
areas, yeah. And I guess this may be the soft side of me wanting to find some kind of way to take this old lady who's 73 years old and dying of cancer and have her not have to suffer in prison. Because essentially when I saw the story, that was the angle that I saw it at. And, again, as I'm discussing it with you guys, I'm going back and forth because I'm clearly very torn on this particular situation. I'm getting a hit from Simone, who's saying as an attorney, she's held to a certain code of ethics, which is very, very true. She's held to a certain code of ethics. And so she probably knew when she did what she did that she could be found guilty of a major crime for doing what she did, which obviously was the case because she ended up getting a 10-year sentence. Ain't no half step on Marcus J. Be down with us. Call us up 804-402-2893 to be a part of the show. The last story I want to get into in this segment is one that most of us have probably heard about by now. I'm getting this one from news1.com. It's about a dude in Miami who killed his wife and then posted the pictures of it on Facebook for the world to see. Not just pictures, but pictures of her dead body on Facebook. And obviously he got caught and he's in trouble big time now. But just before the posting, he wrote via his cell phone, quote, "I'm going to prison or death sentence for killing my wife. Love you guys. Miss you guys. Take care, Facebook people. You will see me in the news. My wife was punching me, and I'm not going to stand anymore with the abuse, so I did what I did. I hope you understand me." This was what he posted after having killed his wife and posting it on Facebook. Now, Carlton Banks did a segment last week. What do you think about it when he asked about the good and the bad, pros and cons of social media? And in the aftermath of that segment, we did a story about a couple of sisters who got into it over a $20 bet that escalated into a Facebook beef, and one of them ended up dead, and the other one, of course, is going to prison for a long time. And now, a week later, the story comes out about this jackass who kills his wife. He don't just kill his wife, but he takes pictures of her dead body, Carlton, and he posted it on Facebook and tells everybody, "I just killed my wife. She was wilding, so I killed her." What you think about that?
He tried to get his own stand your ground law by telling everybody that she's attacking him, but then truth be told, I can't even say that's truth be told. I recant that. There's statements that he went and got the gun after he left her. He had to disarm her. Also, he writes a blog where, there's video of him doing mixed martial arts and all that kind of stuff. So it didn't have to get up to the fact where he had a killer or a shooter. He just got tired. Something snapped. Boom. Shot her dead. Posted pictures. Idiot. That's all I can say. Like, if I was Ruben, natural selection.
Natural selection. Tony?
He's a nutcase. I actually was watching that as the story was breaking over the weekend. And first off, if you've seen the picture of her, she was shot execution style. She was on her knees, and she actually fell backwards. Apparently, he shot her several times in the chest. But he has, several, I think they said like over 100 YouTube videos of himself, with weapons, and he's got one where he's like beating up a punching bag with a suit on, and he's written several self-published self-help books and all kinds of craziness. But yeah, he did allege that she had been abusing him, and apparently on the date, that the incident took place, I think he said that she had pulled a knife on him And, somehow it escalated to him getting the gun and, again, shooting her execution style because she was on her knees and she fell backwards. So, and her daughter was there, too.
Yeah, 10-year-old little girl was there, who we're happy to report was unharmed. But I don't know, man. There's so many layers to this story. I mean, you can't shoot your lady, man. Ladies, you can't shoot your old man. You can't do that. I mean, the fact that it's execution style with her on her knees, which means he was clearly in control of the situation, and if she was working your nerve that bad, then just leave. Just leave. I mean, I don't get how you do that. And, I'm rarely at a loss for words. I think that every single person that's in a relationship that you spend a lot of time with someone, you have thoughts in your mind of doing things that you probably shouldn't do when they work that nerve, but I don't know any normal person that has fantasies of popping two in the chest of their loved one. Like, that's just crazy to me. Colin Banks, when you see a story like this, and you had conversations with the homies about, and we've had conversations, and I think we can keep it real. Ain't nobody listening to us. It's just the three of us here. Ain't nobody listening to us on MixLR, Loud City, or Legacy Internet Radio. It's just us. So you can be free in your speech here. We've all had conversations of our spouses or girlfriend, boyfriends, whatever's getting on our last nerves, but I don't think any of us had fantasies of execution style murders. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Wait, hold on. Let me think. There was that one time. No, she lived. Okay, hold on. Casket. No,
I see like the quote bubble upside his head right now. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's many times, as the man said, I wouldn't hit you, but I sure as hell shake her.
What's the last? All right, well, since we're on the subject, let's have a little fun with this. And I'll go first just to give y'all an idea of what we're talking about. Like, what's the meanest, most cold-blooded thing you ever did to somebody you was either married to or dealing with? I'll go first. I was in college, right? And I was dealing with this girl, and she was literally doing the Alfonso Ribeiro tap dance kid on my last nerve. And we was driving from, he's going to stop doing that. Get a lozenge, okay? Get a lozenge.
A lozenge.
Get a lozenge. Yeah.
Where they at?
We'll go get you one.
Okay,
on the break.
yeah.
But anyway, we was driving from Richmond to Jersey. We was in college, right? And I had a car full of people because, I was a hustler even back then. Like, I took money from anybody who rode in the car because I figured you had to spend $50 to ride a train. You can give me $20. So anyway, she's riding in the car, and the whole time she's just running in the mouth, just talking. I don't even remember what the hell she was. 20 years ago, I don't know what she's saying. Just talking trash, right? So by the time we get from Richmond to South Jersey, I had enough. So I pulled the car over on the side of the road, somewhere around exit 2-ish. If those Jersey people, there ain't nothing around there. Pulled the car over. I went into the trunk. I pulled her stuff out. I left it on the side of the road, and I pulled a George Jefferson, Martin Lawrence, and said, "Get out, get out, get out of my car." She was like, "Ha ha ha, you." I said, "Get the hell out of my car right now." And I grabbed her gently by the forearm, and I pulled her ass out of my car.
How can you say gently grabbed her?
All right. Anyway, I gently, and true story, there's people that I could call that could verify that this actually happened. And when she got out of the car, I got in my car and I drove away. Now, I did go back and pick her up, but it was funny as hell to see her walking with a suitcase. This was back in my mean as hell days, but this was like the most
last week.
Yeah, I'm mean now, but I'm not as mean as I was back then. She just kept on talking, and I think that me putting her out of my car was probably the best thing for us all, because it might have ended up like this Derek Medina fella. I kept driving and it had gone any further. But Tony, not real proud of that story, but true story. I'm candid on Ain't No How Steppin Marcus Jack. What's the most cold-blooded thing you ever did that you don't mind sharing? You ever did something that you like, not proud of? Because, ain't nobody listening. It's just you and me and Colin. Ain't nobody listening on MixLR or Loud City or TuneIn or Shoutcast or anything like that. I don't know.
Well, I haven't always been so sweet and mild-tempered.
Demure.
Yeah, so I'd have to say I have popped a couple in the eye.
You punching people, man?
Yeah. Because there's certain things you don't say, at least to me, and expect there to be no immediate forceful reaction. At least back in the days. That's been a while ago.
Oh yeah, my incident was 20 years ago, like literally 20 years ago. So I think that I have matured beyond, putting people out the car. But then again, it depends on what you're saying. You might get put out the car in 2013. Colin Banks, we know that you're a genuinely nice person who only has positive vibes about you, and anybody that meets you loves you immediately, and how everything about you is all love and flowers and rosies and stuff, like okay, I'm tripping. Anyway, what's the most cold-blooded thing you ever did?
I can't really think. I've done a lot of things, so I mean,
Well, when you say a lot of things, how hard is it to just grab one? Just pick one.
I'm known more from practical jokes than doing mean things to people, honestly.
Okay, well, give us a practical joke.
Well, I told somebody that I just saw a snake in the grass while I was cutting the grass, and then they went in the bathroom, and I took a long green stem from a plant or a flower and shut that up under the door. And I figured I'd try to help them out because they were in the bathroom. I mean, I'm just saying. I just thought I'd try to help them out. They had to go, right?
Yeah, you would have got popped for that. That's not funny.
Oh, no. Worse was, getting an accomplice to go in with me on stuff,
I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him one bit. Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus J. We're going to take our first break of the night. When we come back, once again, Carlton Banks is going to ask a question that we can all relate to. What do you think about it? Marcus J. and I'll Steppin. Be back in a minute.